Hello YouTube. Here again with part 2. Um, so for this particular video, it's gonna be all about the final line work. The previous one was the rough. Again, I mentioned in the previous video, in order to be efficient with your line work, to make it as easier for you as possible, is that put as much detail as you want the final line work to be portrayed. So when you're doing the line work, as I mentioned again from the previous video, you gotta zoom in as much as you can and just focus on those line work, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. You can see I've zoomed in all the way and I'm just focused on those line work. I mean, of course it's in time lapsed right now, but the process, at least for me, is pretty slow. So right now I'm just focused on the hair. I'm just trying to get those quick lines, not shaky lines, just sharp. I mean, I'm still a long way to the type of line work I want to be doing. As I mentioned, I love line work, so I want mine to be as pristine, as sharp, as smooth as possible. So yeah, I'm just gonna the eyes. It's a very important part of work, so you gotta focus a little bit on this one. So as you can see, I'm zooming in even more. Here I decide to change the mouth, make it a little more challenging for myself instead of just a line, which would have worked as well, In a moment you're gonna see how what I'm telling you, that this process is pretty slow, like really slow. I'm gonna remove the time lapse in a second. Right there, you see how slow it is, so yeah, it's a very slow process if you want to get those fine smooth lines. Again, this is for me. Probably maybe other artists that are more established, more experienced, or faster, but for me right now, this is my skill level. Hopefully I hope to improve so I can do more art. So as I mentioned in the previous video, put as much detail as you can, but yeah, I did as much detail as I can, but again, as I work on this final line work, I'm gonna add additional details to this line work that I didn't think are actually necessary on the previous one. It's very time consuming. So I'm gonna put those details, and those details are mostly designs on this character's costume. As you can see, I'm doing one right now, the little orange flowers. I'm gonna do others as I go as well, and even some that I actually missed while doing the line work, I will do when I'm doing the coloring of this character. I'm gonna do another design on the sleeves right here, which I didn't think was needed on the rough. Right there, I'm just doing that nice design, and I'm doing this initially the first time on this final line work, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it does. As you can notice from my style, I mentioned earlier, I I make the outer lines as thick as I can, not too thick, but thick enough. And then the inner lines are as I keep my hand light as I can. As you can see, doing the additional designs on the clothings and stuff, it makes it pop. Adding more details. Those lighter lines really makes a difference in a line work. I mean, of course, you can say that some of the lines are not as straight and not even. But I mean, I'm getting there. More details, doing that belt. This whole drawing took me approximately 2 days. Just working on it constantly, about 2 days. Yep. Again, as I mentioned, the process is pretty slow, very slow. Yeah, and one of the reasons I chose this pose was because, again, I mentioned that I do like some of the designs on the clothings and the side, so I wanted to show that as much as I can, without making it boring that he's just standing straight facing the audience looking at the art. So I decided to put it on a nice arc, like standing, as they call, 3/4. Doing the pants, again adding additional details to the design, to the pants, of course. Thankfully, there's not too much that goes into the pants. I mean, the upper body of this character is already filled with details, so I was glad the lower bottom is more, at least gives it a breathing space, gives the art breathing space. But yeah, I really like the design on this. I'm not sure what this particular piece of the clothing is called, but I love the design. I wanted this part to show up in my portrayal of this character, and I'm happy of how it came out. I mean, initially you can see that the line here is a little wonky. You can see it's not straight. They're not even. They are kind of just jig-jag or zigzag. But I kept it in. But after adding the color, it actually works. Again, I told you my lines are not that perfect, but I'm trying to get there. But this particular piece of clothing, I wanted it on this piece. I wanted it to show because I really liked the color combination. It just complemented this particular character in such a cool way, and the design is pretty dope. Oh yeah, those vector tools, lifesavers. They are extremely good. I mean, if you're just starting with doing lines, those vector tools are really, really good. It helps. It makes your line smooth, and you can edit the lines as much as you can as long as you use vector tools. So I use them sometimes. and the characters coming together pretty good. And the piece is almost complete, the line work. And I'm just doing the flute. Again, beautiful designs on this particular character. So I took a little bit of time to make sure I try to get it as much as possible, as accurately as possible. Again, slow process. Art is a slow process, but deliberate, slow process, and you eventually come out with something decent. And that's the final piece. So I'm done with the line work. I'm just gonna remove the previous line work, and you see just the actual line work. And that's pretty much it. And next video I'm gonna be doing the coloring. I will also be doing the line work for the sword. I kept that last because I kind of was running out of time. I wanted to finish the main characters as soon as possible. So yeah, and also next one I'm also gonna show how I did the reflection. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.